no idea what happened. There's absolutely no way in football that happened, but I was having regardless. I'm not putting any gel in my hair today because I'm gonna head by the gym. I'm gonna go sit in the saunas, and that's always funny. Having gel with your hair getting like super duper wet. I'm making lunch right now. So this is a little life update. Sprinkling my cheese on. So yeah, I'm trying to get my hair to look fairly decent for the camera. I mean, it doesn't do this very well. So if I push it over like I'm some sort of preppy guy, you know, it'll stay there for a little while so I look nice. Yeah, so, like I said, this is sort of a life update. I'm making lunch, I have to go to the store, and I'm gonna go to the gym, do chest, and all that stuff. All right, camera. Hopefully you're stabilized. All right, so, the camera's in a weird thing on the tripod, and it almost fell last time, so I've modified something a little bit. I'm looking at it. I did actually walk to the bus stop with Aaron. But I didn't take the camera with me because, yeah. I read something this morning from, I believe, an import player. Kind of hard to tell because I'm not an import player and my Facebook looks roughly the same. Has a job at a European team and originally from an American city. So I'm not necessarily going to say much. It got me kind of thinking that I kind of wanted to give like an update, a mental update. Not enough lettuce in that. Right before I head out here to like the store and the gym, and like I took a shower because yeah, I felt super icky. I think I had some like night sweats or something. Anyways, that's gross. Anyways, now I've got like, I'm just thinking like, you know, Thursday, Sunday, a couple things that happened at practice. I mean, way back at the beginning of this calendar year, I brought this up before, but I'm gonna kind of synopsize because it's, you know, March 10th. Not quite 90 days since it's happened, but anyways. So New Year's happened, and I sort of like woke up the next couple days, and I think there was a show, you know, the TYT live show for like the 3rd or the 2nd or something, and I just went, you know, I don't need this shit. I don't need to be bombarded by the news all the time from the States. You know, at that point I had been here at least one calendar year. Like, when did I actually get here? Like, when did I arrive? When did I get my residence permit? When did we move into this apartment? Not really anything. But January 1st, 2019 to January 1st, 2020, I was living in the Netherlands. I was living in Amsterdam. And so, yeah, it was like, you know, a year later, yada, yada. And it just was like, I don't need this. And it has contributed a bit to feeling a bit more lonely, a bit more distant, especially now that I see, like, careful, don't say that word or you're gonna get demonetized, going around recently, much similar to the actual thing. And so at the end of January, I thoroughly realized I hadn't watched a single TYT video in about 30 days. Because that was like the second I stopped watching them, and then it was like February 1st or something. Anyway, so I thoroughly just unsubscribed from them. And I do keep up to date on various other things. All of February, where I didn't even have the headlines popping up in my subscription fee. And now we're here in March, and things are feeling weird. Not physically, not even really mentally. I mean, like, ever since camp out at Groesbeek and, you know, the craptastic game, controlled scrimmage, I guess, is what Mark used to call it on the pit bull. Anyways, ever since like that, by like now, plus with like 2 games, I don't know. And maybe it's the fact that it's been about 18 months and I've just been around these guys, and the German, people say that Germans and Dutch and many Europeans are very cold. More, I've also heard from, expats and actually even German people that do YouTube videos that they're not that very open right away, but if you sort of stick around, that they will kind of open up a shell. And that's just kind of how the culture is. To be fair, there are probably people outside the norm, like Cheyenne is probably outside the norm, but she's a medical professional. She has to pretty much be friendly with strangers on a daily basis, on an hourly basis almost. So And plus, she's just a bubbly person. Like, it feels like the part of me on the Rubik's Cube is actually click. Maybe it's already clicked. Maybe that's what I'm detecting. I'm not saying that I didn't have empathy or connection or anything before, but it's something's clicking, something's changing. You know, and maybe it's the fact that, you know, I have that detail-oriented mind, and this kind of goes back to Sunday. Before I vlogged, I, you know, took a pad back in one of the step overs back into the thing, and I saw Yan, and my brain like went, something's different, haircut, his hair looks a little different, it's a little more shaved. It's like my brain went through all the various details that I hadn't really seen. And to be fair, we're football players, he's on offense, I usually see him in a helmet. Or like it's been rainy, so everybody's hair kind of does, you know, this bullshit. But it's just like, you know, and he seemed happy that I noticed a little difference in the detail. I mean, I immediately was like, oh God, Americans don't like it when I notice tiny little details that change, because then I'm spying on them. You know, Thursday with one of our offense guys who had, you know, leg problem. I don't want to say I felt sorry for, because that implies pity, but it was just like, I had that point where I felt like I really, really, really wanted to do something and I had no power to be able to do it. And I guess that reminded me that, like, really try not to bring that up on the videos. Like I said, maybe it's just a generalized attachment that grows just over time between people. You know, and I mentioned on the Facebook post this morning, you know, that, you know, it gets harder after, it's getting easier after 18 months. And then after a fashion, I'll worry that I won't miss anyone back there. To be fair, I mean, I don't miss a lot of people like Aaron misses a lot of people. You know, and I feel bad sometimes that I just don't. Never really made the connections or whatnot. Or I actively severed the connections because it was a draining situation. I don't know. It feels like this is one of those growth spurt moments. And I'm just going to let it happen. Much like I described to Felix about being a linebacker. I mean, he sent me a bunch of good, hey, you did this good, hey, you did that good. And I was like, I feel the change happening. It's not happening as fast as I want, and in the linebacker position. But it is changing, and there is steady progress happening, and, you know, hopefully something will click into place here sooner or later. I don't know. Even other guys have noticed it too, and they're just, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe, at least with some of the defense guys, I'm exhibiting some semblance of skill, and I'm not just some, you know, fatty walking around. And I'm no longer really the new guy. I mean, just new to the team. I was new to the country, so even if someone transferred from a different team, because theirs went defunct or they moved or something, they were still Dutch. You know, and even other people that came, they were still European. I was basically from the other side of the world. The only other difference that could have possibly been is if I was from Australia or somewhere in the southern hemisphere and barely spoke any English, which not really Australia. Although I'm trying not to resist the change, because I still do. And after a fashion, I don't want to stop missing folks back in the States. It's 1:20. I gotta go get shopping and stuff done. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'll try to walk with Aaron to the bus so that we're not having another day like this.